When you start dealing with square roots and radicals, it's going to be really useful to know whether you can divide a number by a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and so on. So what I want to talk about is some basic rules for determining what you can divide a number by. Okay, so to determine whether you can divide a number by 2, basically, as long as it's an even number, you can divide it by 2. So any number that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 is a number you can divide by 2. If you divide a number by 2 and it's still even, then you can divide it by 4. So if you take a number by like 24 and divide it in half and get a 12, then you can divide it, since 12 is an even number, you can divide the original number, 24, by 4. And if you can do that one more time, it means the number is divisible by 8. Okay? Something really easy, of course, is if a number ends in a 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 190, 220, all of those numbers are divisible by 10. Now, one of the nice things, let's say you have a number like 230, so you know it's divisible by 10. Well, it's also really, really easy to tell what happens when you divide it by 10. You just get rid of the 0 at the end. Okay, so any number that ends in a 0 is divisible by 10. If you want to know if a number is divisible by 5, then any number that ends in either a 5 or a 0, so like 65 or 80, both of these numbers are divisible by 5. If your last number is a 5 or a 0, it's divisible by 5. I think a lot of this is probably stuff you know already, but let's get on to numbers like 3, 6, and 9, because something interesting happens. Let's say you've got a number like 21, and you want to know if you can divide that by 3. Actually, let's make it 621, and you want to know if you can divide it by 3. Take each of the digits and add them all together. So 6 plus 2 plus 1. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. If the number you get is a 3, a 6, or a 9, then you can divide it by 3. You can divide, in other words, 621 can be divided by 3. If I used 714, I'll add the 7 and the 1 and get an 8. Add the 8 and the 4. So 7 plus 1 plus 4. I'll add those together, and I end up with 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. And now I'm going to take the 1 and the 2. I want to get down to a one-digit number. So 1 plus 2 equals 3, which means 714 is divisible by 3. If it was 717, 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 7 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. So this number is divisible by 3. In other words, any number that, when you go through this process, you get a 3, a 6, or a 9, that number will be divisible by 3. Now on top of it, if the number was even, if the original number was even, then you know you could divide it by 2. Well, if you can divide a number by 2 and you can divide it by 3, then you can divide it by 6. Okay? So if you've got a number that you can divide by 3 and it's an even number, you can divide it by 6. On top of that, if what you get when you're done with this process is a 9, then it means you can also divide the number by 9. So if I have 873, 8 plus 7 plus 3. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 3 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9, so 873 is divisible by 9. Okay, so make sure you understand this. There's a worksheet that I've given you. It's got 99 problems or something on it. But as long as you can use these rules, you should be able to figure out what numbers you can divide each of those 99 numbers by. Okay, so good luck. I hope this helps.